And I'm a sucker for these cars anyway, man. I like a fast car, a sharp car, a nice suit, nice jewelry on, and
Security.
woo! That's right.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you, you're doing a great job, and I'm going to say, here's my contribution. 10 grand right there for you to throw into the till.
We're live. Okay, we were on a great roll, and then we had somebody fuck it up. Okay, so this is Arnav. He owns and manages his own private commercial real estate fund, and he was late. The only reason why we're allowing him to be here is because he closed a $30 million deal. So if he didn't close a $30 million deal, that seat would still be vacant. So that this is Arnav. He's also an investor into a couple different things that me and Matt have going on as well. So
I hope he has my 30%.
yeah, more like that. As we're going right now, it's going to be upwards of 50%.
Right.
Because we're 50% through with this podcast.
You got
It's
it.
coming
All right.
soon. Don't worry.
But we were on the topic of the Ukraine war, and Mike, I really want to touch base on this because you're a veteran and I'm a veteran, and this hits home for me a lot.
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are so desensitized when they watch death, because when I go on social media in the morning, this entire war, it is politicized and broadcasted on a whole other level. Like I'm sitting down taking a shit, and I'm seeing a bomb getting dropped on like 30 people, and it's the most gore I've ever seen.
It's horrible.
And people think it's a movie, but it's not. It's real, and it hits me from home because when we were in training, Mike, that was the hush hush, don't say, don't tell. Like when they show
Right.
videos of people being murdered, like that's a lot. You know, it's kind of gut wrenching. But then now on social media, it's just out there. You like millions of views, millions.
It's like
of views.
a Broadway show right now.
Yeah, millions of views, and I think it's gross. It's super gross.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it just to the people of the Ukraine and even to Russia. I mean, it's both sides. There's two countries, and there's us too. Everyone is suffering from this. This war in the Ukraine, or this whole act. And to get into it. And it's just, I feel, and, just from my sources and looking more and more into it and talking to people who are on both sides, there's a lot more than what the people know and seeing on TV.
Of
it's
this
a show
war?
of
Of the
this war in the Ukraine. Yes, it's amazing how this so-called president we have has just funneled money over there to the Ukraine.
Next thing you see on Netflix is going to be the Ukraine president. It's going to be season 6 and 7 of his reality TV show. It's going to be him and his war. But at the end of the day, none of us knew that he was actually filming it.
It's going to be President Zelensky of the Ukraine becomes a 100 billionaire in 4 days, thanks to Joe Biden.
And then Joe Biden tripping on the steps on his airplane.
Yeah, right.
Cut.
Sir. Mr. Biden, President Biden, I'm sorry.
Get fucked.
We can't take off right now. We're out of gas. You spent all the money. Air Force One's grounded.
You need an investment from Arnav. I think you got to give the government $30 million, Arnav.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to touch base on Biden. He just actually visited Ukraine, right?
Yes.
And he's been dumping a lot of money into Ukraine war. And, I was thinking about the perspective, why is the United States doing this? Right? What are your thoughts on why is the United States putting so much money into this war?
Well, I mean, as we just touched base before, I believe there is a personal and internal relationship that he has with the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
A deep relationship going back to his son, going back to the president, and President Biden going back to the Barack Obama days and Biden. So, we don't get that on the news and the TV. But I feel there is a bigger and larger picture of what I can say over the air right now. What I can say is that there's a bigger picture of everything that's really going on. And I believe it has a lot to do, as I just said, with Biden, his son Hunter, Barack Obama days. There's some meddling of funds and transferring of funds going all around.
Which is why we're trying to get rid of our dirty money. I honestly feel like this war is to get rid of all the paper money that we have, because if you look at it, 4% of our actual currency is dollars. And I think what we're trying to do is get rid of all of the paper money and giving it to Ukraine, because we're going to be digitized.
Bankrupt our system out.
We're going to be digitized in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's where we're going to go. And I think they're trying to wipe their hands clean right now, send it overseas, get fucked.
And you know what? I think, Jerry, this is a perfect way to empty out the treasury, empty out everything, empty out our whole money, paper money system that we have here, our system, empty all the money into the Ukraine, go us digital. The Ukraine, Russia will still, will still stay paper money over there. So they got all our money. They'll convert it, and it'll be some new scam going on.
And then they'll be stuck in the past with our paper money when we're digital.
You got it. Exactly.
Get fucked. Get fucked.
I can't even tell you how many places have denied me cash. Gas stations.
Oh, it's all over.
You name it. Yeah.
It's all over. I mean, we can't. When you pull out cash today, you're looked at as some foreign alien, or you're looked at as a criminal. If you got a 5 or 10, 20, a 50 or 100 on you,
You're a drug dealer.
You're a drug dealer. You're a criminal because the government has portrayed us. Anybody with cash on them is not good. It's got to be a plastic card.
Oh, no.
Well, to circle back, right, to our conference for the Russian war, I also think that the U.S., right, we're dumping all our old systems, our old weapons. We're giving all that to Ukraine. And I think the real war is 7,000 miles away between China and Taiwan, right? And we haven't been to war in such a long time. So our commanders, they need to get ready and they need to prepare on, how are we going to use our things, and our new technology and
If the commanders are going to get ready, then they got it. They're old. They're dying. We need new young commanders.
We need new young commanders in there, man. Because these old guys aren't moving right now.
The weapons we're giving away are the weapons that they were brought up around.
Exactly. And here's a funny thing. Did you see
these 70-year-old guys are going to be like, "What the fuck is this ray gun?" You know what I mean?
Right.
Pew pew.
Yeah.
They have no idea. I mean, I've seen it in the past 3 years. We have slipped so much on our technology here, on just everything that our military has. We're way behind on a lot of things. I mean, we're not firewalled or really safeguarded against any type of attacks. Cyber attacks, power grid attacks.
Yeah.
We're just way behind in all this, and we're getting deeper and deeper. And which is the plot, because when our next guy comes in, and we know who that's going to be, he's going to have a shit ton of stuff to fix and to do. And one man with his cabinet can only do so much. Then he's going to be fighting the other side as usual. They're going to do the same scenario they did when he was in office. So this is why the deal is, and the whole game plan is for them, is to keep putting us further and further and further behind.
And I do want to talk about the transition with Trump was already in office and Biden's in office now, but obviously we're going back to red. But when Trump was in office, you couldn't be LGBTQ, you couldn't be homosexual, to be in the military, and you couldn't be trans. So there was a big transition in that when Biden was in office. So when everything's different now, from with burning down the cities, the riots 2 years ago, COVID, all of this new fucked up shit.
Yep.
So when it's a different time. So when Trump runs again, gets elected.
Yes.
What's going to change? Is he going to have the same views on that? And the people who are already serving in the military, are they going to be grandfathered in, pulled out? I want to elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, some things I can elaborate on and some I can't.
Because I agree it's wrong, because when I was active duty, it was the most unsettling feeling of my life when I was sharing a locker room and it was someone without a penis. It really was, because it was like playing dress up. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And then they were acting like a man, like cutting their boobs off, and it was severely weird. And then also my worst encounter was when I was walking out of the base grocery store. There was a dude with breast implants, with a beard, and he had hair down to his ass, and he had a Chihuahua dog as an emotional support animal. And I was like, how can that even be allowed in the government? Like, how can you be a government employee and they're going to allow you to do that to serve your country? Just blew my mind.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you on that issue. I'm not racist or prejudiced at all.
Neither am I.
I'm not. And I'm for everyone.
I am for everyone also, but there's just some certain ththings where
you stay in your lane and I stay in mine. Don't push what you do onto me. That's a big motto I've went by my whole life. Don't push what you do on me. Let me live freely how I want to live. You live how you want to live, but don't push any agendas on me.
And if these people they're going to go to war and they're going to get captured, the enemy's not going to care that you're gay. They're not going to care that you have tits and you're a man.
That doesn't
they're
come up
going
at
to
all.
torture the fuck out of you.
That doesn't
They're
come
going
up
to
at all.
tie you down. They're going to throw you in a box. They're going to play music of a little girl crying. They're going to
Yes.
fill the box up with water, pound on it, just like everyone learns in SEER school when you're going through military training.
Yes, sir.
And they're not ready for it. And they're taking away some SEER training for some special ratings in the military right now because people's feelings are hurt. So just because of people's feelings being hurt, Biden is crippling the military because when these people go out and get deployed, they're not ready.
They're not
Trump
ready
had
at
us.
all.
Trump had us so ready 2-3 years ago. I enlisted in the military because it was under Trump.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know. And you know,
because there was something to fight for.
yes, I mean they've made United States military an emotional wreck. That's what it is. It's more of like a soap opera how they want everyone to be in there.
Yeah.
The rules they've done, the COVID vaccines where they lined up people in certain lines and put, if you were vaccinated, you're in one line. If you're not vaccinated, you're in another line. And they basically forced you and put on you to take a vaccine. And they wanted to strip guys of their ranks, their pensions, their current pay, and even prosecute some and say they they were committing treason.
I mean, you got me out.
I got you out, sir.
You
I got
me
you out. Yes, indeedy.
And
I
now we have
got
a
you
great
out.
life.
I mean, you were going through the same thing right there.
I
I
had
mean,
a
I
great
remember the calls
transition.
from you.
But Mike adopted me like a child at an orphan. At an orphanage. He saved my life, got me out of that wreck, made me his chief of staff. He gave me a platform, and he gave me an opportunity in this amazing city, D.C.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And, any way I can help. I mean, that's just my motto through life. I love to help people, no matter who you are. There's always good in someone, and especially a guy who's serving his country and, serving it wholeheartedly and in there doing the right thing to protect America and to protect its people. There's nothing in the world you couldn't ask me and I could help any U.S. serviceman. I would do it.
Were you guys vaccinated?
No.
Matt, did you get the vaccine?
That's a very big question, but no.
Well, I want you to answer it.
Yeah.
But no.
I didn't take it.
No, yeah.
It was too obvious. It was too obvious of what went down. The news is all messed up. Some people were saying it came from a lab. Some people said it came from a bat. It didn't make sense. Right.
People were saying that it was funded from us. Right?
Yes.
We tried to do research here in the States.
Let's be straight up. Let's be honest here, man, as we always are. It was created by us, okay?
Right.
We created it, and it was created by us, okay? Right. Another test experiment that the U.S. government did, and it went out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's an agenda behind it, as we know with everything from AIDS back in the 70s to COVID. It's an agenda.
Yep.
I mean, you can see it. You can see it. The vaccines didn't prevent anybody from catching it again. There's numerous case studies out there right now. There's all type of evidence out there. There's people going public and on the news about it.
Having heart attacks.
Heart attacks, strokes, and they're catching it again. So their answer, the CDC's answer, as we know, is to take a booster. Okay, so booster. What are you going to have, 20 boosters, 50 boosters? You're going to take a booster every day.
And then in 20 years from now, you're going to see this commercial. If you've been exposed, you or a loved one have been exposed to COVID-19 vaccine. You'll
Call 1-800.
Yeah.
Well, the whole reason I say that it's such a big question is just because the ramifications that come with just answering the fucking question. Just saying that I'm not vaccinated, I'll get doxxed. People will come at me and say, I'm a tinfoil hat wearing son of a
Gentlemen,
bitch.
hey, remember when it was going down? You had to show a vaccination card and wear a mask.
Right.
That was even better. I remember in D.C., I would walk in somewheres, show my credentials, show any, and sir, are you vaccinated? No. You must
You
wear a
can't sit
mask
here.
too on top. You can't even come
we
in.
can't serve you coffee.
I knew people that were next to me that I would go into a place to get food to go. They were vaccinated and they had to wear a mask. And they were like, what do you mean I got to wear a mask and be vaccinated?
Right.
Everybody was in disarray.
But if you're not vaccinated, you just have to wear a mask. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could
Right.
double down. You know
Right,
what I
you
mean?
can double down,
Yeah, it
right?
was
Come
fucking
on.
weird. Yeah, weird as shit.
And they even prove that masks don't even work.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
so
They
many
don't
studies.
work.
And it not only that, but there were so many scientists that they were trying to expose the truth early on, but they got shut down, especially in China, right? People were getting snatched. Like scientists were proving that COVID was made on purpose, and they even had a whole explanation on what happened and how it happened, but they were silenced right away.
They still got concentration camps in China and in Australia. If you're unvaccinated,
Yeah.
you're still in a camp.
It's
They
martial law.
they haven't released that yet.
Yes, they do.
They haven't unreleased them. I don't think they ever will because of their society.
I mean, the whole COVID thing, like I said, it was a control factor. The government ran a control factor, I believe, to control us and see who would break or cave in. And sadly to say, 95% or 90%, I'm close. I mean, I can't pinpoint it, but they caved in to what the government said, what the media said. The media was the biggest portrayer of this whole thing. How about all the pictures they showed of hospital workers, hospitals overpowered? I'm real quick, guys, and we'll jump on to the next topic. I'm driving down Gallows Road in Northern Virginia in Maryfield. Inova Hospital. I'm listening to the 103.5 WTOP, right? Comes across there during COVID. Inova Hospital is flooded right now with COVID. We have doctors running around the clock.
Empty.
I pulled into the around the hospital. I pulled into the emergency room. It's empty. The security guard's sleeping in a chair out front. I pull around the back. It's empty.
Did you ask if he was vaccinated?
I should have asked him, did he have a mask on? So,
Yeah. Sir, I'm going to report you.
yeah, I'm going to report you, right?
I'm going to tell Arnav on it.
So you understand what I'm saying? So you have a whole media outlet all over the United States, all over the world, talking about this COVID and about how, and they're portraying pictures of all these people, these doctors working around the clock and sweating. Yeah, I'm sure some were, but not every hospital in the United States is flooded with COVID. Come on, guys.
The one good thing COVID brought out of this was quarantine porn.
I'm not even elaborating on that, so
I
don't
don't
even go down that line, Jerry.
Nurse, I have COVID.
So I do want to touch back to the media thing Mike just said, right?
Yeah.
Not only was the government's agenda, but it's also the medical companies like Pfizer, Moderna, who made all the money during this entire period.
Pharmaceuticals.
Exactly.
What about BlackRock? Did they make any money?
Of course, because BlackRock owns the pharmaceuticals.
Yes, they do.
And the media companies. So
I knew
they
that. I
have-
just wanted to mention their name.
Yeah. so they have full control
Fuck
over
you.
what's going on because they own every single media company around the world, and that's how they were able to scare all the people that watch the news. What does everyone watch? The news.
The news.
And
Politi
everyone was-
Connect also.
Exactly. Everyone's literally a robot listening to the news, and they're just scared shitless.
And it's so crazy. It's like one of them. It's like one of them things you did in elementary school, where 10 people get in a line, and you make up a word, and you pass it down the line. By the time it gets to the end of the line, the word is not nowhere near what the word really should be.
Telephone. Yep.
Supercalifragilistic.
Well, yeah, that's what happened, and it just. Everybody had their own version of COVID. The media. I mean, if you flip through the stations, you would see every different news outlet reporting something different about it. It's there, it's here. You got to do this. You got to take this booster. You don't.
CNN had a death toll. I remember when COVID first started, I was on base. They had a red screen.
Right.
Death toll 1.2 million. And I was like, that's
It's
insanely
way higher
fake.
now.
Yeah.
And nobody on base was fucking sick with COVID when it
You were
first
there.
started.
You know.
Yeah. I was like, we had to shave our heads. We shaved our fucking heads.
Right.
And, yeah, because COVID's in hair.
Come
shit.
on.
Whatever.
Right.
No one's sick. We're all eating pizza.
Yeah.
Literally.
So we know. It was another experiment to see what people would do. And like I said, people gave in. That's their first steps into socialism and communism. They want to see how far they can push you and see where your breaking point is. And people, if they broke for that, what would they do with martial law? Or, when they want to take our rights away, and they will break easily. It's a test experiment.
Right. Well, look at Hong Kong. I mean,
I
talk
agree.
about martial law. That's what's
Yeah.
going to happen. Everybody's going to revolt.
Yes.
And it's going to be a complete shit show.
It's been a test, been going on for a while.
Yeah. It's just the U.S. hasn't experienced that, so they don't understand what can happen.
Well, I believe the U.S. has failed the test. Okay, it failed it with COVID, big time.
Right.
It failed it.
Yep.
And one more thing I want to touch up on, right? We've touched upon how the government, did their thing, how the corporations did their thing, but this entire COVID was almost a wealth scam as well, right? There was a
Yes.
lot of money printed. Everyone was getting their
PPI loans.
PPI
PPL,
loans.
yeah, PPI, right?
What are the free checks called again that Biden was giving out?
Oh, the
AK, can you look that up? Do you know?
relief fund. The what do you call it?
The stimulus is
The
so
stimulus
big.
checks,
Everybody,
yeah,
You motherfucker.
Wow.
Yeah, we all knew that.
everybody was getting stimmies, right? And the funny thing is,
I didn't get any.
No,
Yeah,
I thought for a business, I thought if you owned a business, you could get like 150 grand or something.
it was a loan.
It's like
You
a
get- you get-
relief.
You get relief. Yeah. And basically, what happened was all this money people were spending. Gucci, Louis, who were their best spenders during that time? All these poor people with the goddamn stimulus checks.
They burned them stimulus checks up. You
Yeah.
know what the worst part about it was, guys? I don't want to go off on this crazy kick. Right, what he just said. I mean, I remember being in the malls and seeing lines a mile long in front of these luxury, high-end stores and boutiques in different malls, and they were returning the stuff. So they would buy it, keep it for a week, then bring it back within a return date and return and get their money back. I said, this stimulus
They
check
returned the fake version.
is the biggest scam around. I mean, it created a whole massive crime wave, if you ask me, the whole stimulus check thing. I mean, you had people getting loans, making up fake documents for businesses that they don't even own, getting loans, and then going out buying luxury cars,
Yeah.
jewelry.
Right.
Why? I mean, it was insane what went on. I mean, what he did.
Yeah.
Failure.
If you want to buy a luxury car legally, hit us up.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah,
Got
not
it.
only. And the funny thing is, look who the richest person in the world is. It's the owner of Gucci, Louis. His name's Bernard Arnold or something like that. But not Elon anymore. The guy who sells all this luxury crap,
Oh,
Yes.
no,
is the richest person.
the robot is no longer the richest person in the world.
Exactly. And so it just blows my mind. And not only that, but a lot of people quit their jobs because they was like, hey, I'm getting a stimulus check. I don't need to go to work anymore.
Most people.
Yeah, most people. And what does that do to the entire economy? It slows the productivity down, which fucks up the entire system.
Sure does.
And we're experiencing that last year. The markets are turning down. We're starting to
Hit a
feel
recession.
feel the effect. Not a full on recession yet,
Not
but I
full
feel
on yet.
yeah, not yet, but it's coming soon.
I want my Arnav. I want my money back.
I don't know
I
if
want my
Meg's gonna
money
give it
back.
back to you.
Right.
I want to talk about the balloons a little bit, about these Chinese balloons that can make it over an ocean, can get to America, and can somehow float through almost 90% of the country before getting shot down. I want to talk about these balloons.
So, it's funny you brought that up because, all of us sitting in this room are smart enough to know that a balloon is not going to float from China to the U.S. and withstand the atmosphere conditions, the other conditions it may endure, and float over here like that. It's anybody who believes that is out of their mind. I mean, I'm pretty much convinced that the balloon was made here in the U.S. and was set up in the air here in the U.S., okay?
Matt actually told me about a story. There was a college, I think a college student that did he was doing some sort of experiment.
Right.
I guess he made the balloon and he lost it. But miraculously, there was 4 other balloons that were exactly identical to it. But we've only seen one of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one in up north and then one in Alaska, I believe.
But then we had our jets in Canadian airspace shooting over a balloon, not even in our jurisdiction.
Right.
How about the balloon was seen not far from a military base?
Right.
And it's like, and it took all that time for them to, the Pentagon was scrambling. Nobody could make a decision what to do with it, to shoot it down. I mean, come on, with all the technology we have today, you couldn't see through that balloon what was in it. They were worried what could be in it, or come on now.
Trump would have had it down in 10 seconds.
It would have been down. It would
He would
have
have been down over the ocean if
would've
that was the
never
real
been
case.
you got it. So I think it was I'm pretty sure it was another diversion created up there, and it caused a big diversion, among all over the world. I mean, we were to talk, everybody was talking about it. So what's going on? We're letting a balloon float around up there, for a while before anybody can make a decision. I mean, we got high-ranking officials in our government who can't make a decision, which is scary.
Yep.
We got a president who can't make a decision. It's scary.
And the funny thing is, after the balloon situation, they started talking about how a plane missed a missile, which costed $400K. They were talking about this for like a good week, how we spent $400K to shoot a balloon down.
How does a $400,000 missile miss its target?
First of all, I don't even know, but I don't know why that would even be such a big deal in the first place, right? And another thing, on media, they were talking about it every minute, and no one had the right details. No one knew what they were talking about. There was like a Navy SEAL talking about what was happening, and he was saying that the Chinese are able to move it, so why can't they bring it down? Like one of the details.
Everybody had a story, okay? Just like with COVID and the other topics we touched on already tonight. Everybody has a story. Everybody has an answer, a solution, but nobody gets the real rundown on what's going on with it.
And that's why you come to our podcast.
It's all the divergence.
Right. We give the real of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Andrew Tate, everybody. Andrew Tate. So February 27th, it was supposed to be that Andrew Tate was going to get released from prison, but we are now sitting, March 2nd, and he is still behind bars.
And I believe he's in Romania, correct?
Yeah,
Correct,
he's in Romania.
sure.
They took his $2 million Bugatti. $5 million.
No, that's in Dubai. They took his other cars, though.
They took his cars.
I thought they took his Bugatti. How did they take his
No.
Bugatti?
His Bugatti's in Dubai.
Okay,
it's
so
chilling.
they took his 15 other cars that were
Yeah.
in Romania.
And he's being accused of sex trafficking
Yeah.
of all types, underage girls, of age girls.
And they have no proof.
Didn't all the girls, though, come out and say that they were not held against their will and they did it with him
Yeah.
for full consent on camera?
Yes.
Andrew Tate was doing a reality show called Big Brother, and the whole reason why this became a big deal is because the girl on the show and him, they had sex on camera, right? And
Yes.
then it was rough sex, but it looked like it was rape. That's what I thought. That's how that. I think they dug that up. I think that was an old pull up, and then that's what put him in prison, right?
No, it was like a WhatsApp chat between two girls who they planned all this.
And they saved the chat.
Yeah.
No, so the girls planned to put him in prison. I thought it was
Yeah.
from Big Brother is why he's in prison right now.
No, it was a planned thing by two girls, and they kind of they reported him, and they made some sort of fake proof. And the funny thing is, those two girls, they were pictured driving a Ferrari in like France, and they're just
Somebody
normal
got
girls.
paid.
Someone got paid, that's for sure. And here's another thing, he actually went to jail right before. So he was working on a project where he was making his own bank because he knew he was about to get canceled. Right, he was going to get his strike too, right. And he was in the process of making his own bank, so that way no one can touch him. You've got more power when you're on your own bank.
So what's that process? Making your own bank. What's that process?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of contacts, but it's also about finding the right country. Like you can go to the Caymans and make your own bank. You only need maybe like $500K, but you've got to go through a lot of documentation, and you need to have a lot of good amount of liquidity. To do these kinds of things, but it's not that hard. But what he was actually trying to do was not only was it his own bank, but he was trying to provide it for his followers, like an online
so
bank.
People can buy into it with their money.
Not buy into it, but put their money with him. And I feel like the banks realized that he's getting a lot of power.
So what would it be, like crypto?
No, I think it was just cash.
Okay, because do you guys know what's going on in El Salvador? How they're 100% Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Yes.
And like I would say, I think 80% of their population is involved in volcanic mining, where
Yes.
they are doing volcanic mining, and they're paying with everything with Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about that earlier about course digital currency.
Yeah.
So it can be tracked, it can be looked at, it can be stopped. There is no more freedom of spending.
Well, why is volcanic mining so much? Why is it so big in El Salvador, but it's not big in America? I don't understand that.
I've never touched on that basis about volcanic mining. I have a cousin who knows a lot about mining. I'm sure I could touch base with him and ask him about it, but I know El Salvador has a lot of natural resources, and of course,
can you look up why volcanic mining in El Salvador is better, I would say, than anywhere else.
here's
Where
the
else are they
thing.
doing volcanic mining at?
It's not
Hawaii,
about.
That's it.
It's
You
not
said
about
Hawaii?
better.
It would just be Hawaii in the States.
No, it's
Otherwise
probably
it'd be
other
underwater.
places. I maybe most likely Hawaii, but
Right.
it's not just about what's. It's about the resources. Which country wants to use the resources? Like for example, the United States. We've got so much oil, but we don't drill as much as all the other countries because we want
Yeah.
to preserve it, right? El Salvador, it's very corrupt. They've got inflation through the roof. That's why they're switching over to Bitcoin, right? Because
Right.
Bitcoin, there's no inflation because there's already a set amount of coins in the entire blockchain, right? And so the reason these El Salvador is almost getting scammed. It's a whole corruption scheme, right? It's all these other countries wanting minerals from these guys.
You got an answer for me?
So
A geothermal electric power plant.
mhm.
So they're mining in the volcanoes and they're getting energy from that, creating a power plant.
Well,
Kinetic energy.
what happens when they run out of volcanoes? They just are they fucked?
It's just
Well,
Maybe
no,
they start selling land and whatever assets they have. That's all they can do. Go ahead. Sorry.
And volcanoes, from what I know, it takes a long time. They can just keep mining it and producing power. It's a natural resource. Volcanoes are never ending.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a government thing.
So Arnav, when I know there's a cap on coins for Bitcoin, but when we give all of our paper money overseas, which I foresee that we will be doing with our
Mhm.
4%, it's going
Mhm.
to go overseas. What's going to happen when we're completely digital in America, and then is our currency going to, our paper currency, they're just going to adopt our dollar. So what's the currency exchange going to be? Well, let's say all of our money hypothetically goes to Russia and Ukraine. Let's just hypothetically say the paper
Mhm.
goes there.
Mhm.
And we are no longer a paper country.
Mhm.
What would that currency change? It's going to say United States dollar on it. It's going to be flooded in their economy.
Mhm.
What is the value of that going to be when it's going to be absolute zero and we're going to be completely digital?
So what they're planning on calling it is called USDs, right? It's called
USD coin,
Yeah,
right?
USD
Right.
coin. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what you really need to understand is it's the central bank, the Fed, who's really in control of all this, right? And as of now, they're basically printing unlimited money, right? And they need to be able to make it even faster. They can't keep printing money. They need a faster rate of printing money, right? Because when this recession happens, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money. And where's that money going to go, right? And to bring the economy back up, they need to print more money, right? And so what I think is going to happen is there's just going to be an unlimited amount of money that's being printed. And the whole reason the United States is in control is because something called the petrodollar, right? All the oil in the world is traded on the dollar. That's why we are the superpower. There's no
Yes.
other reason why, right? And so what's happening right now on the back end is Russia. They've got the biggest resources of gold, silver, all these minerals, right? And when a recession happens, this dollar isn't going to mean shit, right? You need real assets, gold, real estate, something tangible. This table is an asset. You can sell this and someone's going to buy it.
You can barter if you have
Yeah.
tangible assets.
Exactly.
You can't barter a piece of money, a $100, $20 bill. It's not worth anything. But you can barter natural resources. You can barter gold. You can barter diamonds. You can barter food. You can barter crops. You can barter land.
Anything tangible.
Just like he just said.
Exactly. And so what's happening is behind the United States back, right? Well, honestly, I want to touch on something else. There's a reason why I want to talk about Iraq and Iran, right?
Yes.
Why did the United States go in there and for like Trump, he's been saying we've messed up so many times. We've done lots of bad things, right? And not a lot of people know what we've done, right? And it's about Saddam Hussein, right? I know you know a lot about this, so I
Yes.
want you to go into more details about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
Wow.
Basically, like in Iraq and stuff, I feel like, and from talking to so many people, it was a big oil thing, with the Bush family, and it was about the oil there.
Yes.
And it came down again to our country about money and power, and we wanted to be the power players of that industry, and that industry was not owned by us over there. So a power play to do it is to go to war with them, or create a war, or create somebody as a danger or dictator, and step in and seize it and take it by any means possible. And that's basically what we did. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that will disagree and argue with me, whether they're veterans, whether they're civilians. Everybody has their own take on it. But that's basically what we did. And, it's funny, and a lot of guys have talked to me about this. It seems like the oil wells there, when we invaded Iraq, they never got blown up or caught on fire. They were pretty much preserved. That was like one of the big things. Make sure you don't do that.
We didn't go there because of terrorists. There are
No.
terrorists all over the world. People who come in do school shootings are terrorists. They are.
We
they
have
are-
more internal terrorists
Mhm.
inside of the U.S.
Mhm.
than we do out.
Mhm.
It starts from the inside and goes out. We got more internal terrorists right here in this country than we do outside.
Yeah. And the external terrorists that we did have that were captive are now back on the streets talking about that basketball player who Joe Biden did a trade on. With what, there was an arms
Brittany
dealer.
Griner.
Yeah, Brittany. There's an arms dealer for what, like murdering hundreds
Yeah.
of people, in
Right.
what was it, Africa?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
No, no,
war
yeah.
crimes
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
war crimes
Yeah.
against America,
Mhm.
and he was in prison for what 20, 30 years with us, and he just let him go back in
Let
Russia.
him go for a basketball player.
That had dope in her suitcase in Russia, thinking that was an okay thing.
And you want to know something crazy? There was actually a soldier there that's been stuck for.
And she's
20 years.
anti-American.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're-
Anti-American.
Yeah, and even and I got into this argument with a gentleman about Brittany Griner being released, and he started arguing me about the Marine who, like, basically he said that Marine was, had a dishonorable discharge or was, and this and that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. He still was a U.S. serviceman. He still served. You're comparing apples to oranges with it. You know what I mean? You left him there, and you traded a basketball player who knew the law not to go in. She went into a foreign country, into Russia, with illegal drugs.
Wait, with the Marine that's in captive there, like, why is he there? I need to know more backstory on him.
Something happened with that. I don't know the whole story about it. I just know he's in prison there, and they left him there. I mean, they traded they took the basketball player for us.
AK, can you do some research on that and see why that Marine is imprisoned in Russia?
I believe he was a spy.
Yeah, then
An
they
American
said
spy?
maybe
Spy,
he
yeah.
leaked information, or they said
So he was working in Russia?
Yeah, he was working Russia's intel. I think it was like JSOC. I don't know exactly what it was, but yeah, he was a spy.
he was accused of spying.
He was a spy, but instead they took the basketball player. Who knows why? But I believe it was just a
20
PR
people
thing.
went to her welcome home party.
Yeah.
20 people, and there was
Wow.
supposed to be like 100,000 people are supposed to go, and only 20 people went.
Well, just like Biden's Raleigh, that he had. We're at Pittsburgh. They spent all that money on catering and everything, and 15 people showed up from the union. It was supposed to be thousands.
I know, right? Then you look at rallies that Trump has, and he's not even in office.
20,000,
And
30,000,
people
50,000,
People are
100,000.
trying to hop the fence to get in.
Yeah.
Can you blame him? Biden didn't even show up to his rallies. Like before he was president, he wouldn't even show up. He would just
He's
stay
got to
home.
open his eyes first. He
Because
will
he
show
was,
up.
he was in the
Show up.
basement for so long of his political campaign
Right. It's insane.
that he was afraid to get out.
Right.
Right.
Say it, vampire.
That's right. He was hiding.
That motherfucker.
Disgrace to this country.
But I wanna touch back on the
Your $30
Iraq.
million deal.
No, definitely not. The Iraq thing, right? And how he
Right.
mentioned the terrorists or the corruption is from our end. It goes from U.S. to outside, right?
Yep.
And it's funny because we actually, like, if you look back, I think the Bush family, they gave Saddam Hussein the key to Detroit or Chicago, something, I believe. And
Chicago.
yeah,
Chicago.
and he was great. The CIA used to work with him. They were all good, right? And the real reason they actually went to war was because he wanted to trade oil in euros. So what the United States did was they sent a reporter there, and Saddam Hussein let him tour all of their facilities and whatever. And the next day he comes out and says they're making what's it called?
Mass destruction weapons.
Yeah, mass destruction weapons. And there you go. What does the United States do? We're going to war. Boom. And then that's how we. And now look at that. It's a failed state. It's failed. And now look what happened. There's a whole terrorist situation going on, and there's a reason why they keep coming back at us, because we're the ones who came in, fucked their entire country up, and then left, right? And I'm telling you right now, that's exactly happening with Ukraine.
You can't go into a foreign country and change their beliefs on what they do from day one, their beliefs in their God. You can't go in there and change that and tell them who they have to worship, how they have to live their life. It doesn't work that way. And we went in there, what really irritates me is all the money that's been spent rebuilding these countries that we do this. We step in, we blow it to pieces, we invade it, we rebuild it, then we blow it up again. I mean, this is...
And then we give them relief money for 10, 15, 20
years. This is U.S. taxpayers' money that they're taking from us in doing this. It's out of this world. It drives me crazy. It has nothing to do with, taking care of the people in your country. They're taking our money, and funneling it for this scam.
So I'm curious, what do we do about Iran? Because Iran has been blowing off the nuclear deal, and since '79, a regime steps in for a country that was basically New York City before '79. It's like, how do you go about that? Because I would say most of my friends are Iranians, right?
Yes.
And it's such a beautiful country that's just been taken over. It's what exactly do you do about that? It's a country that's just been oppressed for so long, and especially now.
Well, I don't have an answer for you on that, but I can tell you we need to worry about this country right now.
Correct.
Before we can go start fixing every country in the world, which we do, we need to fix the United States of America. Then we can fix other countries and lead them in a positive and productive way.
Mike, how are you going to fix America?
Well,
there's a lot coming up in the next couple months. I'm excited, really excited.
Well,
tell me about it.
I'm going to tell you, man, there's a lot coming up. I mean, I'm doing some big things, from personal business deals to a political consulting firm called PolitiConnect, where what I want to do is we want to bring, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, we just want to bring a median level. We want to bring you both sides together where we can meet in the middle and get something done that works for everyone. It's not just about Democrat, Republican. You got to think for all of the U.S. and United States citizens. This arguing back and forth and throwing temper tantrums, on the House floor, in the White House, both sides, we will never get anywhere like that. If we can just politically connect one another, as I came up with that name, it would be nice. And I'm working on that. That my firm will be basically that type of firm where we can ally one another. We can talk. We don't have to agree with one another. Hey, we still can be Republican, Democrat, but at least let's have a meeting point where we can sit down and discuss our issues at large right now, and let's come to a resolution to fix it instead of all this he said, she said, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that, name calling, fighting, arguing with one another. It's just the media going on there and blowing up everything out of proportion. That's what I want to do, and I'm going to connect people in that way. I'm also going to have a PR firm, under PolitiConnect that will do PR stuff. We'll handle a lot of meetings between different local and federal governments, so we can share the meetings.
Do you believe that this is going to make our deals and decisions for the government much faster for the next 8 to 12 years or onwards?
Yes, I believe if we can have a medium point in meeting together and work out the issues the best for the U.S. citizens, not ourselves, and we think about everyone else, I believe it would speed things up a lot faster, and all of us could work together and live in peace and harmony. I mean, and enjoy, bring the USA back the way it used to be.
Damn straight. For the people, by the people.
You got it.
And PolitiConnect is going to give the right, the logical, and the correct responses that this country needs.
Yes, and that's what it's all about.
And that's why this podcast is here.
Yeah, I mean, it's America. You know what I mean? We're the best country in the world. I mean, everybody wants to come to America. People, we hate America. You hate America, and why are you coming here? They love America. We are the place of freedom, and we want to keep it that way. And we want to prosper, and our kids, all the way down the line. We want America.
Futures.
We want the futures to be a future and not end it. And the way things look, we got to fix them. And that's what I'll give everything I can to try to help fix the country and make it a better place for all of us to be in.
Do you guys want to ask U.S. Ambassador Di Pasquale at large anything?
Ambassador at large, yes.
I would like to talk about a big character in our community, Elon Musk, and how, do you believe his vision for the future, and how do you think what does he provide to our community or United States?
Well, I can't go into heavy details about him because but I can tell you some views that I have about him, and a lot of other people have as well that are in my circle. I don't support anything with electric cars. Everybody wants to go electric stoves. I don't support any of that. I believe in natural resources should be used. They're natural resources. That's why they were put here, for us to use them. I also believe that the world goes in a cycle. And there is, people are always saying about, what is it, that the world is, that we're going into this, the glaciers are melting, we're having all this, we're melting things down, the gases of what we use. No, I mean, the world goes in a cycle, and, the natural resources are there for us to use to make energy, to eat, to cook with, to have electricity. So, do I support electric cars and electric stoves? And no, I mean, I'm not a big guy on that. I believe using all our fuels. I believe it drives the economies. When you got coal plants producing coal, when you got gas out there, the pipelines are open, we're getting fuel. That's part of a striving country. It's our natural resources.
If it gives somebody a job, we support it.
Look.
If it tracks me, I don't want it.
Look at the jobs it creates, that natural resources plants create. I mean, you see it in coal mines and in coal production facilities, in hydropower, everything. You know what I mean? Like different types of natural resources. I mean, it's us. It's America.
Yeah, like hydrogen-powered, engines and shit for jets. I have no problem with that. You want to do your research. You want to, incorporate that somehow. I have no problem.
But an electric car, like Elon Musk, when he came out with the electric Tesla,
right.
I mean, they're not safe.
Correct.
They have lithium batteries in them. Them batteries explode.
Golf carts now have lithium batteries.
Wow.
It's just in general, we are making these decisions way too fucking fast.
Yes.
And
yes.
why?
I agree with you, and I believe again. It's a government agenda.
And the people in these third world countries are dying.
It's
harvesting lithium.
Control, guys. Control. Control. Get rid of all the gas cars. Have electric cars. We can pinpoint you. We can track you. We can turn your car off. We can lock you in your car. We can shut your car off completely.
So when you're getting chased by the police, they can just turn you off.
I'm not going to get into that, okay? I don't get chased by the police. Maybe you do.
No, it's also.
I keep my nose clean, Mike. I gotta stay clean.
Yes.
It's also crazy how you know who Greta Thunberg is, and
isn't isn't she autistic?
I have no idea, to be honest. I have no idea.
No, I'm being for okay, go ahead.
But no, she's always protesting for all this for electric power and for solar panels and all this bullshit, right? And it's crazy how to get all this lithium battery and all the lithium, we use gas-powered machines to mine this lithium.
Of course we do.
And it's not going to change.
Yeah.
We had the biggest lithium mine in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
We had the biggest lithium mine in the world. It's in Afghanistan. Now, who has control of it? I think China.
And they have all of our technology that we left there on those bases.
I want to talk about China actually, because I've noticed that China, they've been doing a lot of projects in South America, in Africa, and what they've been doing is they've been creating power plants for I forgot what country it was, but it was a poor country, and they basically went in and they said, hey, we're gonna build a power plant for you, and we're gonna help you out. Just they give us minerals in return instead, right?
Venezuela, right?
Yeah, Venezuela. Yeah. And first of all, look, the country's fucked up as of now. But what the Chinese people do is now they own real estate in this new country. Plus, in that contract where they build this power plant, they say, "Let me mine minerals and natural resources from your country for us."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm going to break in on you on that. That's funny you just touched on that because that's like a whole plan, and we know what they do. They promise the world to you. They promise to build your infrastructure back, but people don't realize everything they build back is third grade related, meaning the quality sucks. It breaks apart. The bridges collapse. They promise you to give you phones. We'll give you new iPhone. We'll put your cell phone structure back together and all. It's garbage. It's all third rated stuff. Do you know why they do this plan? There's a big reason why they do it, and I'm going to tell you. So when they do this deal, like they do in Venezuela, and they predict, they promote this type of deal, they actually bring in girls from China. Thousands of girls they bring in. They start infiltrating the population, say, of Venezuela. So you bring in Chinese men and Chinese women. They get the people in Venezuela, the citizens of Venezuela, whether it's a girl or a guy, to marry one of them. Once they marry them, they have voting rights. Then they vote the government out and vote the Chinese government in. That's been a big thing that's been kept under the water. They infiltrate the whole population and they mingle into the population, and before you know it, you got Chinese Venezuelans. You have a brand new country created.
Yeah, fucking insane.
It makes sense because China has been trying to eradicate not only just people in general, but women in general.
Now, come on, there you go, guys.
It's insane.
And one more thing, right?
About China?
Yeah, one more thing about China. When they build these power plants, the other country, they don't get the contract to build. They bring their own Chinese workers.
Yes.
They build it, and then those Chinese workers stay there, and that's how they've been doing that.
Do you know that in Canada they have bases? They have Chinese bases, and they're doing special military operations up there right now, right from our northern border.
I'm going to tell you, yes, sir. I'm going to tell you, they have bases right now that are on the Canadian border, bordering Washington State. They can drive their tanks across the line.
They're just waiting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trudeau.
Wow.
And all these plants and all this space they have, in the future, 10 years down the line, they're going to build bases on them because they can do whatever they want, right? Because they own it. Boom.
We've let them do this. We've let them surround us.
Yeah.
Remember what I told you earlier? It happens internally. Nobody's invading us from the outside. We're invading ourselves within. The U.S. is invading itself within itself, okay? And other countries know this. They're letting us do this. We're invading our own selves and opening ourselves up. So when they come in, it's easy to take over.
I think it's insane because, like, America in general is the most sound country in the world. We
You got
have
it.
the Pacific, we have the Atlantic, but it doesn't matter. We have allies in the north and the
Yes.
south, but it doesn't matter because everything is technological anyway. So if China is to take over technologically, it doesn't matter where we are or anything. Not to get off on a tangent.
Yep, correct.
But it just doesn't matter.
Correct.
That's what's so upsetting.
It's internally, man. It's
Right.
happened internally.
Right, correct.
We've opened it up already.
Right.
We got to fight it.
And
That's why we're here doing this podcast too, right? We're going to fight it.
Right.
Giving people the truth
The real
That's all-
truth,
that's all
what's
we're
really
about.
going on.
the only reason
in the heart of DC.
The only reason you don't know the truth is because you're listening to the media. And who controls the media? It's the government.
You got it. And the media just they spin so many things off. They lie about people. They print articles. They put stuff on TV without fact checking it, without any type of backup. They just say whatever they want, and people believe it. This is what we've turned into. They believe it.
It's all sound bites. Everything
got it.
political, it's all sound bites. Because
Got
nobody
it.
does their own research. They don't give a fuck.
No, people are lazy. People are lazy. They'll sit in front of a TV or a radio, and whatever they say, they do, or they listen to it. And that's right. Oh, it's correct. They're lazy. America's gotten lazy.
Thank God people are becoming more hip to CNN being fake, though.
Yes, I know,
Their
right?
ratings going
Much
down,
more than
so
just CNN.
thank God.
Yeah, a
But
lot of
yes,
these
correct.
media outlets,
Correct.
man.
No, and that's why.
Believe me, I dealt with them. They're horrible.
Yeah, and last topic that I wanted to touch up on was health, right? And
Right.
food mainly, right?
Are you talking about your $10,000 a month?
No. Well,
Can we talk about that $10,000 a month?
the food budget?
Your
What
Your-
$10,000 a month?
your injections.
So I don't know. Vitamins. Well, there's a I forgot the actual like name of these
IV
doctors.
therapy?
Yeah, it's like IV therapy, but they take your blood and they look at what you're deficient on, because a lot of the foods right now that we eat, they've got pesticides in them. They've got so many chemicals to keep so they don't mold. Like if your vegetable does not mold, it's fake. It's literally fake, right? Do not eat that shit. And what's happening is when they put these chemicals on there, the vitamins and all like the nutrients is dead. It's all chemicals, and that's what fat is. Fat is chemicals that your body can't decompose. That's why most of America is fat. If you go to any other country, they're a lot more healthier, all this stuff. But all the corporations here, they don't have actual like chefs who make their stuff. It's all scientists.
That's it.
It's psychology. What they do is they look at like Doritos, for example. They look at what chemical is gonna spike the enzymes in your brain and want to
The red triangle.
eat you more. They've
You
got
got
big
it.
ass bags of Doritos, and
Yep.
everyone brings them to parties, right? Coke, all that shit, right? And you just addicted. Like for example, one crazy fact is Coke, right? They added 10 milligrams of sodium, and what does sodium do? Make you more thirstier. So people drink even more Coke.
Hey, well, you see when you go into a grocery store, the cheapest stuff in there to buy is the worst stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The best stuff and healthiest is the most expensive.
Exactly.
So you can go down any potato chip aisle, $2.99 a bag, $3.99 for the biggest bag. Soda, this, that. They make it the cheapest because that's what they're pushing.
What about like the organic or like the vegan option of like the chips, like organic chips?
Depending on what brand it is. I
Yeah,
mean, you
those
got it.
Whole Foods.
Is that actually real?
They do have that. But
I
it's like-
recommend doing your research. I mean,
You can
it's
bullshit
different
that
for
too.
everybody. You got to look it up and research. I mean, I'm not a food expert, but I can tell you, that do your own research the product. It takes time. I mean, if you want a healthy diet and to be healthy, it takes time, and you got to do your research because there's so many things out there.
Matt, we can't do McDonald's at 3 a.m. anymore on the weekends when we're done with the club.
We can compromise.
There's
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny because there's
It's so good.
people. There's this one lady. She's had a burger from like 2000, and it still looks like there's no mold, nothing, perfect condition.
Yep.
Imagine putting that in your body, and that's why it's $2, because it's literally made out of waste. Like for example, fluoride in your toothpaste. Fluoride is actually a chemical waste, and then they make you put it on your teeth, and it
Yep.
actually fucks you up
Yep.
over time.
So what toothpaste do you use?
So I use this natural toothpaste. It's made out of some sort of plant, but it doesn't have fluoride. I can bring it on next time if you
Link in
want.
bio.
Right.
Well, we don't have a sponsorship from them yet, so
Oh yeah,
I don't
you,
know.
you get everything done. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
you're gonna get us a toothpaste sponsorship.
We'll see what happens.
Open up your third eye. No more fluoride.
Yes, no more fluoride. But
You're right about
It's-
them foods, man.
yeah, it's crazy because it's also a lot of the poor population that's obese, right? Because it's this cheap shit that they're eating, and it's just nuts how, and you know what's something funny? The government is pushing the agenda where you can be fat. It's good to be fat, and this is where
It's all about your feelings. It's wrong.
Exactly.
It's so wrong.
and this is where the fat starts. The fat part starts. All this LGBTQ. Even though I'm totally fine with that. No, nothing against that. But this is where the agenda all starts. I believe so.
And we're gonna have fat special operators trying to fight a war for us.
You're right.
Unphysically fit.
Like who wants like
They can't even breathe.
I've seen officers like police officers that are not fit. Like they're
Like, who are you saving? You can't even save yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, and I don't know why this is happening. Versus over in Europe, everyone's there more people are at least.
Mike,
fit.
can you touch up on that, and then we'll close out?
Yeah, I mean, I see it. I mean, there's a lot of police officers just in the city of Washington, D.C., other cities, Philadelphia, New York, that aren't physically fit, that are obese, that aren't qualified for their job. They don't look professional. It's the whole rundown. And you're representing the law, and you're representing that city, town, or state. You should look presentable. That's just, it's part of the role. You're looked up to, you were looked up to, not today, but you were, and you're out there, you're a public servant, you're serving the people. So within that regards, you should look respectable, and people should respect you. And you gotta, if you don't respect yourself, they're not gonna respect you.
Yep.
I mean, it's true. I mean, they're unqualified out there. I mean, getting down, I mean, we've ran checks before, and there's an agency, local agency, that more than 40% of the police officers have domestic violence charges against them. They have criminal records, because they're so short on officers now. They'll put anybody in there. I mean, you got police departments that are empty right now. They're empty. All the police, like the one town, I think it was in North Carolina, I was reading, all the sheriff's cars are just sitting there, or local department cars. They're out of officers. People are leaving. People are quitting that job because of the stress and the ramifications that you suffer if you go to defend
And wear the
yourself.
badge. Yeah.
You got it. I mean, it's turned into that.
Which they should have left earlier when the vaccine was forced on them. Look at all the police chiefs and everybody in New York. People who have been in that position for a decade or more are now being forced against their will to adhere to that.
And like I said, it all goes in line. What's been going on, from the president who we have in office right now, with his non-support of all the civil servants working. He says he does, but he doesn't support them. I mean, there's just no support out there anymore. There's no defense. I mean, everything is about feelings now. And, you can't hurt someone's feelings. You can't say what you want to say. You can't talk anymore. If you cross the street the wrong way, you might offend somebody. It's insane. And I'm going to touch on one thing, and you can grab the mic back. It's like, let's go with smoking, cigar smoking. Cigar smoking is a big thing right now. All around the cities, I see it. A lot of guys are smoking cigars over business deals. But it's a big thing in like cities. If you walk down the street with a cigar, you're committing a crime. But yet, it's okay to walk down the street and smoke marijuana and shoot heroin up and smoke crack. I mean, I see it in the city. It's insane. In D.C.
The cops just drive right by when they see that.
But if you're walking with a cigar, God forbid you light a cigar up, you're a terrorist. Don't smoke a cigar, but you can shoot up heroin, you can smoke crack, you can smoke marijuana.
You can steal from stores.
You can steal from stores. Yeah. I mean, you can break windows out. You can have unlawful demonstrations. But God forbid if you light a cigar up,
you're going to prison.
You've committed one of the biggest crimes in the United States of America.
You should be pulled from office.
Unbelievable.
Aren't you allowed to smoke now inside the Capitol building?
You can smoke at the Capitol, yes.
It's amazing.
Yes, we are enjoying cigars.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, this was great. We were on here for a minute. U.S. Ambassador Deep Pasquale at large, I really appreciate your time, and I really appreciate being your chief of staff. It's always a pleasure. It's always monumental whenever I'm with you, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing. Senior Advisor Rubel, really appreciate everything that you do.
We want to bring this country back.
And $30 million Arnov. Appreciate you being late from your business deal. I want to hear more about that when we get off, but that sounds amazing.
And you know what? I would like to say, so I would like to I'm really proud of you, and I really want to congratulate you on your new ventures, especially the luxury car business, everything you're doing right now. I'm just, it's really amazed me. You put your mind to it. You went forward. You've really grown a lot since I've known you. And I see you becoming a better and better and better man. And I'm very supportive of you starting this small business, especially the exotic car rental. And I'm a sucker for these cars anyway, man. I like a fast car, a sharp car, a nice suit, nice jewelry on, and
security.
Woo! That's right.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you, you're doing a great job, and I want to say here's my contribution. 10 grand right there for you to throw into the till.
Awesome.
I mean, it's not $1 million, but it's 10 G's. Put it in. Put it in your business account. Put it in towards, if you want to get the cars detailed up, whatever you want to do.
It's enough for a down payment on what, a Lamborghini?
Yeah,
a used Lamborghini.
Yeah,
a used one.
Yeah. You might be able to get. You might be able to. I mean,
maybe a Porsche.
As good of a talker as you are, you might be able to get a down payment like that for 10 grand.
That's a fact.
But I support you in all you're doing, and it's been a pleasure, seeing you grow into the young man that you are. And me at my age of 47 years old, I've been through a lot. I've been down. I've been back up. And I thank God that I'm still here. And I thank my circle. I have a very small circle, and I'm not going to mention those people right now, but it brings tears to my eyes right now. It brings tears. I want to, coming down that they've been there for me, to help me succeed, and to be who I am, and a better person, and to push me towards what I believe in. And they've always supported me, and they know who they are. They've been there through whether I've been down or up, and I thank them, and I love them all dearly, and I thank God up above for always blessing me and keeping me around.
And we're very excited for your political consulting firm.
Thank you.
And I'm very excited to be a part of it and help change lives, because that's all this is about, is changing lives.
And
you just changed ours tonight by helping us out with that small contribution. We're greatly appreciative.
You know what? And I see you're going in the right directions. I'll do more. I want to be a part of things. I want to see the younger generation guys. I want to see them succeed. I want them way better than I am. When I see this, and a young man who says, Michael, I just made $20 million yesterday on a business deal, and I prospered this much and profited this much. I'm so happy. I want to see people way better than I am, because I know what it is and how hard it is to work for something and to set your goals for it. And sometimes you get delayed in the process. Sometimes, you have people that don't believe in you. And my advice is just to keep moving forward, believe in your gut feeling, believe in your, let your heart lead you, and soul and your mind, and you follow what you believe in. No matter what people say, you keep fighting for it until you accomplish it and you get it, and you keep going forward.
The American dream.
That's America.
Everybody, we appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much.
Thank you all. Be safe.